Today, we got the gigantic news that FBI Director Chris Wray plans to resign. Now, to avoid the impact of partisan politics, FBI directors are appointed to 10-year terms. Wray was appointed back in 2017 by President Trump after Trump infamously fired the previous FBI director, James Comey. Wray's decision today to step down rather than wait for Donald Trump to fire him is definitely worth chewing over, and we're going to discuss that with a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee in just a moment. But now that Christopher Wray has made his decision, now that he has announced that he will vacate his office on January 20th, the more pressing matter is who Donald Trump plans to nominate in Wray's place.
We look forward to a very smooth transition, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Are you going to be seeking retribution against Donald Trump's political opponents, sir?
Sorry, what's your reaction to Wray's resignation? We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
That was Trump's pick for director of the FBI, Kash Patel, on the Hill today, speaking with senators and shoring up votes for his confirmation. If you aren't particularly familiar with Mr. Patel, you cannot be blamed. He was sort of a tertiary character in the first Trump administration. But since the last Trump administration ended, Kash Patel has been loud and very proud about exactly what he would do if he were put in charge of an agency like the FBI in a second Trump term.
Do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
We're going to come after you. Now, on its own, that statement might seem a little ambiguous. Kash Patel has since said that he only means people who broke the law. But who exactly does Kash Patel believe fits that description? Who is he saying he should come after? Well, to answer that question, Mr. Patel has already published an enemies list. And when I say published, I mean Kash Patel literally printed this list in the back of a book. Last year, Patel published a book called Government Gangsters, The Deep State, The Truth, and the Battle for Our Democracy. And in the appendix to that book is a list entitled Members of the Executive Branch, Deep State. And while the list has 60 people on it, the author makes sure to note that the list is not exhaustive. But on the list are people like former Trump Attorney General Bill Barr and Hillary Clinton, and wouldn't you know it, the current FBI director, who Trump himself appointed, Chris Wray. Now, it's not just Kash Patel's enemies list that makes the idea of him running the FBI concerning. Kash Patel is also an avid conspiracy theorist. From 2021 to 2023, he hosted a show for a far-right news outlet called the Epoch Times. NBC News reviewed 79 episodes of that show and found that Mr. Patel and his co-host pushed unfounded claims of conspiracies involving government officials, law enforcement agencies, the media, and tech companies. All of those claims were about supposed attempts to rig elections, silence conservative voices, and undermine Donald Trump. Kash Patel also openly embraces the far-right conspiracy theory known as QAnon. QAnon asserts that there is a deep state within the U.S. government that works to protect a cabal of pedophile elites who secretly traffic children and harvest chemicals from their blood. Here's a taste of what Mr. Patel thinks of the alleged mastermind behind QAnon, who calls himself Q.
Whether it's the Qs of the world, who I agree with some of what he does and I disagree with some of what he does, if it allows people to gather and focus on the truth and the facts, I'm all for it. If it's Q or whatever movement that's getting that information out, I'm all for it every day of the week. And people keep asking me about all this Q stuff. I'm like, what does it matter? What I'm telling you is that there is truth in a lot of things that many people say, and what I'm putting out there is the truth.
NPR reports that Kash Patel has either promoted the QAnon movement or shared QAnon-related conspiracy theories in at least 50 media appearances in the past few years. When promoting one of his books, Patel signed 10 copies with a QAnon slogan as a sort of promotional gimmick, sort of like the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. but for people who think Hillary Clinton drinks children's blood. And I should mention that that promotion was not for Mr. Patel's adult book. That one was for one of Mr. Patel's 3 children's books, his Plot Against the King series. Those books follow a wizard named Cash who sets out to save a king named Donald from characters like Hillary Queenton and Kamalalala. They're still available for last-minute holiday gifts. Or you could just buy one of Kash Patel's bogus COVID vaccine reversal supplements, which undo the supposed nefarious effects of the COVID vaccines. Or you could sign up for the right-wing cell service he pushes, which is really just a third-party vendor for companies like AT&T and T-Mobile. Or you could buy a Fight with Cash branded T-shirt or a Kash Patel branded bottle of wine. It is a Blue State Cabernet, but you sure won't taste it. Those are all real things that Donald Trump's real-life pick to run the FBI really sells. And on top of the griftiness, and on top of the conspiracies, and on top of the enemies list, one of the things we really have to worry about when it comes to Kash Patel are his thoughts on the FBI itself.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening it the next day as a museum of the deep state.
That was Kash Patel 3 months ago. Not only does he think the FBI, as it is currently run, is nothing more than the quote-unquote deep state, but when it comes to the biggest case the FBI has handled in the past 4 years, the prosecution of the January 6th attack on the Capitol, Kash Patel thinks that the FBI may have encouraged rioters to commit crimes in order to entrap Trump supporters for political reasons.
It's not like they just said, hey, January 6th is going down. Congress is, being surrounded. Go. The question that has to be answered is, when did the FBI put those guys in and where? And did those confidential human sources engage people who were not going to conduct criminal activity and convince them to do so? That is the definition of entrapment.
To get more of a sense of who Kash Patel sees as the good guys and who he sees as the bad guys as it concerns January 6th, all you really have to do is listen to that strange mashup of the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner that Trump recorded with about 20 inmates who had been imprisoned for their actions on January 6th. Remember that one? Yeah? Well, Kash Patel produced that song. That is the man Donald Trump wants to run the FBI.
Do you want Kash Patel to launch investigations into people on that list?
No, I mean, he's going to do what he thinks is right.
Do you think that's right? Do you think that's right, sir?
If they think that somebody was dishonest or crooked or a corrupt politician, I think he probably has an obligation to do it. But
are you going to direct him to do it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Is it your expectation, though, that Kash Patel will pursue investigations against your political enemies?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to see that happen?
If they were crooked, if they did something wrong, if they have broken the law, probably. They went after me, They went after me and I did nothing wrong.